Okay, so here we go, learn mode.
Chef's knife. French knife.
Right, French knife, got it. An area, an improved self-contained version of a large stock pot.
Jeans
Steam jacket.
kettle thing.
Steam kettle jacket.
Kettle.
Steam jacket,
Steam
kettle.
kettle jacket.
Kettle jacket.
Oh, steam kettle jacket.
Is that like Full Metal Jacket?
Right. Okay, whatever this answer is, it's true. Chicken is always stored on the bottom to prevent cross-contamination.
Fish.
A pierced metal cone.
That's the Chinese
Chinese
hat.
China cat. China cat. Children, elderly, and pregnant women are what?
They're susceptible.
High risk.
High risk.
High risk.
That was it, Corey.
High risk group for foodborne illness. Known temperatures and rejecting packages. What is this for?
Receiving food.
foods.
Guidelines for receiving foods. Okay, here we
We're
go.
crushing it.
Chef's knife, also known as
Okay.
French.
why is this giving me all the same stuff again? I think, they feed, I guess I didn't realize that there was going to be new ones.
Flies?
Flies.
Flies?
Yeah. Flies carry a threat to human health. True. 40 degrees or below. Fish. 45 degrees.
Eggs.
Eggs.
Shelled eggs.
Shelled eggs. You're right. You're right. Unless you go to Mexico, then room temperature is all good.
Yeah.
Or if you get from a farm that hasn't washed or put their eggs in the fridge, you can put it on your counter at home.
They haven't been washed?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
There's
once you
water
look
in
at they're
some kind of
natural, cage-free, you just pull them right from the
Chicken.
nest, chicken coop.
Well, I know that salmonella is on the shell, which is why you're supposed to, rinse your eggs before you use them.
Steam,
Kettle. Check it.
Steam kettle jacket.
vegetables and fruit,
Paring knife.
Still crushing it.
children, elderly, pregnant,
High risk for foodborne illness.
pierced metal cone-shaped strainer,
And a hat.
cap,
Ah,
Just
I
think
would pick it out. I would pick it out.
CC, think CC.
CC. Cupcake,
There you go. China cap cupcakes.
right?
Temperature and rejecting packages, guideline for
Receiving foods. True. On the bottom.
we got that one.
45
45
eggs.
degrees,
Shelled eggs.
eggs, flies, blah, blah, blah.
Flies, typhoid fever,
Chef's knife.
French.
Okay.
Woohoo.
They keep giving us the same. I'm looking for the one that, oh, we don't want this anymore. Okay, I'm going to go to the other one because the
Go
other
ahead.
one does a really nice mix up.
Is that ketchup growing on a vine?
Yeah. Did you see that? Claritin D.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's 20 here. I feel like I'm on the wrong side, but
Moist tea methods, that's like boiling, steaming.
poaching,
Poaching,
blanch,
blanch.
cooking methods in which heat is conducted to food by water or water-based liquids or steam. That's really the answer that they're looking for.
All right then.
Dry heat methods.
Methods of cooking that don't require steam or
Or water.
And they're probably saying that it's probably where metal is used. Heat is conducted to food without moisture. Hot air, hot metal, radiant, hot fat. Sounds good to me. Bacon.
Right?
Mhm.
Had bacon for dinner.
Okay. Definition of blanching.
Isn't that where you cover it and throw some water in on a hot grill?
Like a little bit of water, but I think the key here is that you're not cooking something all the way through. It's like
So
a partial cooking, right? So to cook food partially and briefly, usually in water.
Yeah. So when we did it on the line, we'd put it on the grill, take the hat, throw some water on and cover it. So yeah, I think that's true.
Okay. To braise.
Cooking slowly in sauce or jus or something.
Yeah, but only a little too in the oven.
Small amount of liquid. The key here is usually after a little of browning. Braise. Covered in a small amount of liquid, usually after preliminary browning. Poach.
What's the difference between poaching and boiling?
Well, I think poached eggs, like you have to swirl the water. So like, is it a mixture of steam and water, or just?
It's full on water, but it's not boiling. It's maybe a light simmer. So cook food in liquid, usually a small amount that is a hot but not actually bubbling.
Got it.
All right.
Okay. So think of a poached egg for Eggs Benedict. You're dropping the egg in very hot, maybe rolling a little bit water, but you don't want to break the egg, right? So
Right.
that's the best way to think of what a poach is. Broil.
You put it close to the heat,
High heat.
top down, right?
Yes. So radiant heat from the top. Radiant heat from above, Okay, so broil is from above. Is that a wet method or a dry heat method?
Dry.
Stew. Not to be confused with braising.
Or boiling. Or poaching.
You cook it in its own liquid and you leave it.
For a long time.
Yeah,
Like you serve it with the liquid.
you serve it with the liquid. To simmer or braise in a small amount, which is usually served with the food as a sauce.
With the food as a sauce. Okay.
So stew, to simmer or braise food in a small amount of liquid, usually served with the food as a sauce. Okay. Ooh, foodborne illness.
Getting sick.
Definition.
Food.
Illness caused by food.
Yeah, a disease caused by the consumption of contaminated food.
There's the real.
Consumption caused by the consumption of contaminated food. Fat Toms. Anybody remember what some of these initials stand for?
That's it.
I think the key to of this too is that we have to remember that this acronym, each word is what potentially, you might have to correct me, Corey, causes a potential foodborne illness, that these different things have to exist.
Yes, and I only remember some of them. Like one of the T's is temperature, I believe.
Hmm?
Oxygen.
Moisture, that's Tom. You just did Tom.
Okay.
So temperature, oxygen, and moisture, or moist. The F is, I think, food. Is it?
I
The
don't
A, hang on.
Oh, here it is. Okay, food is F. A is acidity level. T is temperature. The other T for Tom is time. O is oxygen, and M is moisture.
Okay. So these are all the conditions that bacteria needs to grow. So they need food, it needs acidity. Think of leaving something out too long in the wrong temperature and air gets to it and moisture, it creates a bad thing. Okay. So food, acidity, time, temperature, oxygen, moisture. The conditions that bacteria need to grow. What's the definition of bacteria?
Single cell organisms.
No, I thought that was parasite.
No, parasites live on other things.
Single-celled microorganism that requires fat, Tom, to multiply in foods. Food, moisture, specific temperatures, all that stuff. So a single-celled microorganism that requires fat, Tom, to multiply.
I like your shorthand.
You like that?
I do.
It helps you remember fat, Tom.
Yep.
Virus.
Corona.
They are RNA-based organisms that infect plant, animal, or bacterial cells and use them to replicate.
What do they need to replicate?
Their host cell. They use their host cell's mechanisms to replicate.
An infectious agent that
Ah.
relies on a living host to replicate. Yay!
I graduated with my molecular biology degree in 2002. I can't remember half of that crap.
Okay, a parasite.
It's an organism that lives off of another organism, like feeds off of another organism.
Yeah. Needs a host to survive. So that need a host to survive. The virus relies on a living host to replicate. So one is to replicate and one is to survive. Okay. This was the hardest one for me to remember, but now I totally remember it because I've spelt it 5 different ways. I spelled it scromboid, scum whatever, scum this, scum that. Anyways, scombroid poisoning.
Poisoning by fishies.
Fish?
Yes.
Ah.
One of the most common forms of illness caused by fish toxins, and it's usually when fish aren't properly stored and the temperature goes bad.
Scombroid poisoning.
Scombroid poisoning. Basically,
Weird word. It's fish.
yeah, it's fish. Just remember fish. Hazard Analysis Critical Control Point, HACCP. What's important about this?
How long you can store things at what temperature before they go bad and should be thrown away?
That's a part of it, yes. Anybody remember how important this is? Basically, it's the process that uses all of this to make sure that you're keeping food safe. So proper food handling, proper monitoring, record keeping, all of the above to make sure that you're keeping your food safe. So when the health inspector comes to check in the kitchen, they're looking at all your temperature controls, they're looking where you're storing the food, they're looking to see how the chefs in the kitchen are handling the food. All of that is basically HACCP, Hazard Analysis Critical Control Point. Okay. What are the big 8 food allergies?
Gluten, eggs,
Sesame.
They don't say it as gluten, but
Wheat.
they'll say it as wheat, I think.
Yeah. And then there's coconut and
No, it's just nuts in general. It's
yeah.
tree nuts and nuts.
Oh, coconut is not actually like a tree nut, even though it has nuts in the name.
It is.
It's one of its own. So like tree nuts, coconut,
No.
soy.
Coconut comes from a tree.
Yeah.
Yes, but it's not classified as a tree nut allergen by the FDA.
Yeah, it is.
So remember this, there's
He's allergic to all nuts and he's allergic to coconut. For the allergist and all of that. I didn't know that until all of that.
They have soy listed as one.
yes, soy is one of them. So eggs and dairy, or eggs and milk,
Yep.
soy and wheat, tree and tree nuts. What am I missing?
Shellfish.
And
Regular fish.
regular fish. So I've remembered these as 2 by 2 by 2 by 2. Tree and tree nuts, soy and wheat, eggs and milk, and
Fish and shellfish.
right. Eggs, milk. Actually, they say peanuts and tree nuts. Fish and shellfish. Oh, they say soybeans and wheat instead of soy.
Yeah, because I think you can do a soy protein or a soy fat.
But this is how it's going to show up on the test.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So eggs, milk, peanuts, tree nuts, fish, shellfish, soybeans, and wheat. Got it? What is the danger zone?
45 to 135?
41.
1 to 135.
41 to 135, in between those temperatures. Liquid measurements. This is a whole list of them, but I think the key here is to remember the difference between liquid and dry, because that's what we're going to get quizzed on a whole bunch.
And I think it's pints and ounces versus cups and tablespoons.
Tablespoons, teaspoons.
That's how I remembered it.
Yeah. So it goes cup, ounces, pints, quarts, gallons.
So what are they calling dry measures?
Teaspoon, tablespoon. It's coming up next. But I think if everybody remembers the very first one of the 1 cup, 8 ounces, and a half pint, you can mathematically figure everything else out, like how many ounces in a quart, so on and so forth. In case you need to remember those.
Well, I mean, I've always thought of dry measure as a measuring cup as with a level top that you scrape. And then a wet one is in a cup that has an extra little bit for the meniscus.
Yeah, but they're not ever having that on the test that way.
Damn it.
They're showing the chart
Yeah.
of cups, pints, ounces, quarts, gallons.
Mhm.
Dry measurements are also ounces, but they're teaspoons, tablespoons, and cups.
So they're much smaller.
They're smaller. Okay. Who remembers what the formula is for food cost percentage calculation? What's the first thing?
The price that you pay for it.
Right? So food cost
And then
divided by,
Selling cost.
yes, selling price.
selling price.
So the menu food cost, actually it's saying, divided by the retail selling price. Food cost divided by retail selling price. Food cost percentage calculation.
So the cost over the selling price times 100.
There's no times on this one. So how do we take something like really simple
So
and
it's like a
basic?
percentage though, right?
That is the percentage. So if you have, keep in mind that the question is, how do you calculate a food cost percentage?
Mhm.
You take your original food cost and you divide it by your retail selling price.
And I think if I recall in the fast track, it was like, I think it was like the hamburger or the steak, I think. And it said a hamburger sells for $5 and your food cost is $1.50. That's not the numbers that they used, but then you divide them and that gives you your percentage. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I might actually have.
And it's in the fast track guide. It has the equations for how, and it actually says in the question, which I have a feeling that it's not going to be that apparent when it says it, but it has it in the fast track guide. It says what the menu price is, what the selling price is, and then you just have to remember the equation.
Yeah, the problem is, like, I just landed on one saying, oh, the selling price of a drink is $6.75 and it costs 85 cents to produce. What is this beverage's gross profit percentage?
Gross, that's what it is.
I printed out all of the exams that I had in that folder that I created for you guys, everybody.
Mhm.
And so I have them all, like all of the stuff printed, so I could just take it like a test and see how I do.
Monica, have you scheduled your test yet?
No,
I think I got an email today that said that
check was paid.
yes, and I was like, what check? I didn't write a check for $425, and I was like, what? And then I was like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense. Because
Yeah.
the email doesn't tell you what it was for, and I almost thought it was a membership dues, and I was like, I didn't sign up for that. And then it said check.
I thought the exact same thing. I'm like, wait, I didn't authorize payment. It's not due yet.
It costs 95 cents to produce. If you want a 27% food cost, it should sell for.
So in that instance, you're gonna
Reverse it.
because they're giving you the percentage, and they're asking you for the selling price, right? So, oh, algebra.
Is menu food cost divided by retail selling price equals food cost percentage. So your menu food cost would be 95 cents. Divide that by your retail selling price, which we don't have, but that equals food cost percentage. So
So if you want that percentage, you're gonna have
5
to
over x equals
right?
27 27, so 27x equals.
You timesing it, taking the menu food cost and multiplying it by 0.27.
So 95 cents divided by 27.
I don't think you divide it by 27.
No, because you're divided by the retail selling price, which is what they're asking
Use
for.
350. 352 actually.
Does calculating the menu, the retail selling price, or
If to produce, if you want a 27% food cost, it should sell for, and then I just need to find the answer. Number 6.
Did it tell you, it's not telling you what to sell it for, it wants you to.
Is 18%. No, that's not the right question. You have the exact same question in that key. Or number 7.
Are you looking at the fast track, Des?
Yes.
Okay, so here's what you need to do though.
Yeah.
So this tells you how to calculate the food cost. Your question is, you already have a target food cost that you're trying to meet. So
Yep.
what do you need to charge for it?
Right.
So what you're really doing instead of dividing it is you're multiplying it. So you would take the original cost of the item and you times it by the 35% or whatever it is, or 27.
Can I
There's
tell you what I
another,
remember from junior high? And
what's that?
Can I tell you what I remember from junior high about percentages? So it is divided by of equals percent. And so I did that. So 95 cents is divided by of, which is your total that you're looking for. So that's your X, equals the 27%, right?
But it's not a percent that you're trying to figure out,
Well,
right?
and this equation isn't the same as what you're talking about. So
Yeah, it's different.
it's a different equation that you're finding something different. So there's a different way to find what you're talking. You don't use this equation. It's a different equation altogether. So
Okay. But still, I mean, you gave me the right answer.
With my fast notes, you're right. So you have the cost of the food, and then you divide it by the percentage is your selling price. Like what the actual equation is.
Yeah.
But this one is telling you to find the percentage.
Yes. So this slide that we're working on right now, menu food cost, that is the is, divided by retail selling price, is over of, and then the flip side, like the answer, is the percentage. And so that simple equation, is over of equals percent, will work with all of these equations.
So are you looking at the slides, or are you looking at
I'm
the?
looking at the slide that's on the screen right now.
No, in your fast track.
Oh yeah, I did the same equation, and I got the right answer.
Oh, the 27% or whatever.
Yeah,
It was.
it gave you 27%.
Right.
So 0.95 to produce, so that's your is, 0.95. You want a 27%, so that's on the right side of the equal sign. So is over of equals your percent. So you got 0.95 over x equals 27. So to be able to work the equation, you've got to move the x to the 27, so it's 0.95 equals 27x. So you multiply both sides by x, and then your x crosses off. So you got 0.95 equals 27x. So then you do 0.95 divided by 27 equals x, and that gives you 3.52. Which the answer is 3.51, so
Right.
differently than I do. The only time I really get tripped up is when it said it gives you the information to figure out your cost, but they want your profit. And then you got to subtract from 100 or something. That's where it kills me.
Mm-hmm.
They set you all up for one and then they want the other. Trick question.
Right. You guys ready for the next one?
Yeah.
Ooh, I just made this bigger.
Woohoo. Genius, and you didn't even know it.
Let's see if this works. Cooking methods in which heat is conducted to food by water, water-based liquids, or steam. What's the method called?
Wet.
Moist.
Ah!
Moist heat method. Ready?
Yep.
Cooking methods in which heat is conducted to food without moisture. It's called
Dry heat.
Dry heat.
to cook food partially and briefly, usually in water, is called
Blanch.
yay.
Hey.
To cook food covered in a small amount of liquid, usually after preliminarily browning, is
Raising.
Raise. Woohoo. I'm just gonna like copy off a Ching.
to cook food in a liquid, usually a small amount that is hot but not bubbling, or as Des said, boiling, is called
Poach. Yay.
to cook food with radiant heat from above is
Royal.
Royal. Yes.
boil. Oops. To simmer or braise a food or foods in a small amount of liquid, keyword with the food as a sauce is,
Stew.
Go.
yeah,
I'm gonna copy everybody.
a disease caused by the consumption of contaminated food.
Foodborne illness.
Yeah.
Thanks. Can't talk till someone says your name.
The acronym used to indicate the conditions that bacteria need for growth is called
Fat Tom.
Fat Uncle Tom. No.
Creepy Uncle Tom.
Single-celled microorganisms that require food, moisture, and specific basically require fat, Tom, is called
Bacteria.
Bacteria.
a small infectious agent that relies on a living host to replicate.
Parasite.
Parasite.
I thought it was virus.
It is.
Okay. Replicate is virus.
Got it.
It needs a living host.
A
Is
host to survive is
parasite.
That's a parasite. So the replicate is virus. Survive is
Host to survive is a parasite. That's how I remembered it.
okay.
okay, this is the fish one. Fish
Gum.
toxins.
Gombroid.
Illness.
Something.
Poisoning.
Poisoning.
Scombroid poisoning. Poisoning. A process that uses a combination of proper food handling procedures, monitoring techniques, and proper record keeping to help ensure food safety is called
HACCP.
Is it HAACP or HACCP?
Did I hit the thing to say that? Did you hear that? Did you hear a voice just talking? I only heard it? Okay. Up here in the corner is a little thing, and she'll talk to you and read this to you.
Oh,
Nice.
Cool.
Hazard Analysis Critical Control Point, HACCP. eggs, milk, peanuts, tree nuts, fish, shellfish, soybeans, wheat is what?
Top 8 allergens.
Big 8 allergens. Allergies. Big 8 allergies. Remember it specifically because when they ask you to type it in, they want you to be specific. Big 8 food allergies.
I probably cheated, and if I got it like remotely close, I was like, no, I'm correct. Like,
Yeah, got it.
that option that it's like, I'm correct. And I'm like, well, I'm correct.
Food temps between 41 and 135 degrees Fahrenheit is also known as
The danger zone.
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise. Na, 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 na. Welcome to the danger zone. Okay. 1 cup, fluid ounces, pints, quarts, blah, blah, blah is known as
Fluid measurement.
Liquid measures.
Liquid. Not fluid. Liquid.
Wet measurements.
Push that. Liquid measurements. And all of these are known as
Right.
dry measurements. Menu food cost divided by retail selling price is also known as
Food cost percentage.
grades A, B, and C.
Grades of chicken.
Beef.
Poultry.
Oh,
And US,
Poultry, or is it
USDA grading for poultry. Okay.
what is beef graded as?
Like it has prime and all this other stuff. Choice.
Prime choice. Okay. You'd think I'd know that my favorite food is steak, so you know.
There should be, it's gonna have me start over, but how do I get to the fun stuff?
where it says match gravity. Do you usually do it on the computer or you do it on your phone?
I did on the computer.
Okay, because I do it on my phone.
Whoa.
This.
This is a match.
Oh, yeah.
Graze belongs to that one.
Monica
Big 8 food allergies. Oh, this is fun. I haven't done that one. Stew in its own sauce.
Yeah.
HACCP. Process.
Dry heat is the danger zone, and there you go.
Woo!
I'm like pointing. I'm like, that's not helpful.
You're pointing. Okay, wait. We don't want to do the match. Let me see. Wait, no. Learn.
Yeah, is this the one that gives you the option?
Complete mastery.
How well do you know
I
this?
know most of it. No.
I love this study group. This is so helpful.
It's so helpful, right? There's like a, okay, here we go. Study.
Study, let's do it.
Oh, okay. Des, what are we typing in here? What's the answer?
Major 8 food allergies.
Not
Big eight.
major.
Big
Give me
eight.
another word.
Big.
Just 8
I
food
think
allergies.
Big 10, like, because I'm from the Big 10, so that's how I remember it.
Oh, big 8 food allergies.
Oh, cooking methods in which heat is conducted to food by water. Jing, what's this one?
Moist heat cooking methods.
Yeah. Do you guys know people who hate the word
Oh,
moist?
like wet moist, not wet moist.
I know several people.
Single cell microorganisms that require food, moisture, temperatures, blah, 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 to multiply in foods. Corey.
Bacteria.
Bacteria or
Oh, that's Fat Tom. It's bacteria.
Foodborne illness.
Oh.
Nope, you were right.
Woohoo!
Okay, that was good. Des, to cook food in liquid, usually a small amount that is not hot, is hot but not bubbling, is called
Poaching. Beep, beep, beep.
ding ding. One of the most common forms of illness called by, okay, Jing.
Gombroid poisoning. SCOMBROID.
Corey, teaspoons, tablespoons, all this is called
Dry measurements.
Yay!
Des, a small infectious agent that relies on a living host to replicate.
Replicate would be virus.
Okay, Ching, a disease caused by the consumption of contaminated food.
Foodborne illness.
Did I even spell that right? I don't know. Yes, I put a U in there. Corey, menu food cost divided by retail sell. Oh wait, we got this. Got it. Acronym used to indicate conditions bacteria needed for growth. Uncle.
Fat Tom.
It has a dash.
Does small or microscopic creatures that need a host to survive.
Parasite. Parasite. I was going to say pathogen, but that's something that causes disease.
Ching, cup, ounces, pint are all
Liquid measurements.
See, we got this. Cooking methods in which heat is conducted to food without moisture. Corey.
Dry heat method.
Mm-mm. Oh, I didn't have
Methods.
Oh my god, that's anal.
Yeah.
Come on.
Right? To simmer or braise food or foods in a small amount of liquid, which usually served with the food as a sauce. Des.
Stew.
Uncle Stu.
Stew, baby.
Cook food with radiant heat from above. Ching.
Royal.
Corey, grades A, B, C.
USDA grades of poultry.
Or, yes. A process that uses a combination of proper food handling procedures, monitoring techniques, record keeping, blah, 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 blah. Got it. Cook food partially and briefly, usually in water.
Blanche.
Poach?
No.
Oh,
Probably Blanche. Without the S.
It's right.
Cook
Yay!
food covered in a small amount of liquid, usually after preliminary browning. Ching.
braise.
Oops. Temperature between 41 and 135 degrees. Des.
Tom Cruise. No, sorry. So,
Corey.
Big 8 food allergens.
geez.
Allergies. Okay.
Single cell microorganisms that require food, moisture, specific temperatures is basically they need fat, Tom, to multiply in foods. Ching.
Bacteria.
Cooking method in which heat is conducted to food by water, water-based liquids, or steam. Des.
Moist cooking methods.
Heat.
Yeah.
Hi, Denise.
Moist heat and dry heat.
Okay.
And it's methods, right? Got it. One of the most common forms of illness caused by fish toxins in the U.S. occurs when fish are timed. Des.
SCOMBOID.
R.
Embroid.
And what's the second word?
The other word. Poisoning. Toxicity.
Poisoning.
Not a fun time.
Teaspoon, tablespoon, ounces. Corey.
Dry ingredients. Dry measurements.
Infectious agent that relies on living host to replicate. Ching.
Replicate, is that the should I get them confused? Parasite? Virus.
It's living host to survive is parasite.
Got it.
Cook food in liquid, usually a small amount that's hot but not actually bubbling. Ching.
Poaching. Or poach, sorry. Have to have exact letters in place.
We have this one, right?
Yeah.
Big 8 allergies.
No, big.
Food allergies.
Yeah.
Sorry. 8 big.
Jesus. Okay, the host to survive.
Parasites.
Parasite.
Cooking methods, heat is conducted to food by water, water-based liquids, or steam. Des?
Moist.
Moist heat
Heat.
method. Methods?
Method or methods?
Methods. Acronym?
Uncle Town with a dash.
Liquid.
I think we've answered these like every which way. Disease caused by the consumption of contaminated food.
Foodborne illness with no U.
Food.
Oh, one of the most common forms of illness caused by fish toxins. Des?
Embroid. Poisoning. Embroid poisoning.
We know these well.
Good job, team. Can we do like
Good
a
job.
Awesome. Love
I
it.
think when we do this type of stuff, it really, really sinks in. Don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely.
I found it, like I said, really helpful. Like I'd go through all of this first instead of reading, and then I'd go back and read the chapter and be like, oh, okay, like, and then it kind of describes a little more.
Yeah.
Really sink it in. I gotta get on my equations though. That one is gonna kill me.
Yeah. I think maybe what we do is we dedicate to equations again. And I don't know if anybody's gone back to that like PowerPoint that I created, but we probably need to fix a couple pages, I think.
No.
Um,
I'm a test crammer more so than like longevity studier, so I'll probably get to it in October.
Yeah, Yeah.
That's usually what I do too. So,
yeah,
Like
Well,
a week and a half before the test, then I'll just like shove all the information in my brain.
yeah.
And then
it's
back
usually
that
like a week out. A week out for me.
You know what I think we should do? I think I have some homework for all of us that I think might help.
Oh,
I think that everybody should go to, let's see if I can get us there. Hang on a second. Go to the OneDrive folder
mm-hmm.
and go in here and print the sample exam. I think this is an answer key right here, but there's several exams in here. I think you should print the exams, and I think everybody should just go through it and do your best. Don't look at the answers, go back and look at them afterwards. But I think we should just, I did it, but I haven't taken them yet, and I have them all printed out. And, you know,
How many
pages
questions?
and pages. I'm just curious to see how many I can answer without any trouble,
Yeah,
and
and
which
what-
ones I get stumbled on.
How many questions are on
That's
the?
something a good idea to do maybe by next week, or actually 2 weeks when we have the.
Yeah. One of them that I printed out actually has 67 questions on it.
Wow.
It's
Okay.
called the sample exam number 1 that I'm highlighting right now. That has 67 questions, and it's all mixed up. You know, it's like how the test is probably going to be.
Yeah.
And I also printed out sample exam number 2, which is kind of the third one down. And that one has 60 questions on it.
Oh, very good. My phone just now finished updating. I'm glad we
Oh
did.
my gosh. Then I printed out just the food production one because I wanted to know if I could answer these questions. And you know what? Let's do this really quick before we say goodnight.
Yeah.
Hang on one second.
Do you think maybe we should do a couple more, like just study and review sessions? Because the 8th is going to be accounting. So then that only leaves us one review session before November 2nd, which, I mean, we can schedule our exam anytime, but I mean, we could do Wednesday and Thursday if we wanted to.
We
Yeah.
could do a little back-to-back just to get it all in our heads.
Yeah.
And maybe we just, whatever we decide to do for the test date,
Mm-hmm.
maybe that's the week that we do maybe 2 nights back-to-back together.
That's probably a good idea. Probably
And
good.
just do it like, you know, I'm kind of like Ching.
Mhm.
I kind of need to cram like within 24 hours of taking it
Oh, absolutely. Me too. Yeah.
because
Absolutely.
I'm not going to remember. I'm a last minute, like, let's look at it.
Yeah.
So here's food production questions. Which of the following temperature ranges creates prime conditions for the growth of foodborne microorganisms?
B.
Answer B. Yeah. Which of the following microorganisms can be found in both ground beef and lettuce?
B.
C.
E. coli.
E. coli. Mm-hmm. Exactly. How many people must develop the same foodborne illness in order for the illness to be considered an outbreak?
2.
Yeah. This is one that Lisa covered last week with us, I remember.
Yeah. Well, and the way that I remember it, because I remembered it saying like it's an outbreak for COVID was over 2 people, and it was the same. And I was like, oh, well, that was easy.
Yeah. Like, okay, that's easy.
Right? There is not an outbreak in Corey's house.
No.
That's funny.
I'm sorry, Corey.
Yeah. Which of the following is a potentially hazardous food? Dry pasta, raw broccoli, a muffin, or raw bean sprouts?
Bean sprouts.
Bean sprouts.
Yeah, it is bean sprouts. Which
we
of
know
the
why?
following is not a common food allergen?
C.
Hey,
Red meat, right?
hey,
Let me make this bigger. Oh, better. Which of the following symptoms can occur as a result of an allergic reaction to peanuts? Fever, diarrhea, fatigue, high blood pressure.
B.
Diarrhea
yeah.
is the answer to
I
that
was
one.
like anaphylactic shock.
Right, long breathing, blue
Yeah.
lips,
Sorry, I only know how to administer EpiPens. None of that.
Hand antiseptics must have which of the following characteristics? ADA compliant, unscented, no, liquid, FDA compliant, or unscented?
C.
What's I see?
Has to be FDA compliant
Yeah.
is the answer. A food handler that has experienced vomiting, diarrhea, or jaundice should take which of the following actions? Perform duties outside the kitchen, sleep for 3 hours, resume working in the kitchen as soon as the symptoms are gone, return to work only after the symptoms are gone for 24 hours.
D.
D.
4 hours.
Yeah, gone for 24 hours. Some of these just kind of make sense, don't they?
Yeah.
When you read through it. Which of the following types of thermometers should not be used for refrigerators and freezers? Plastic, glass, digital, or calibrated? Should not be used. Any ideas?
Class.
Yeah. What
Calibrated?
sounds like the worst thing that you could do in a freezer or a refrigerator? Yeah. Glass. Yeah. So plastic is preferred, digital is good, calibrated, always good. Which of the following steps is included in the boiling point method of thermometer calibration? Bringing clean tap water to 41 degrees in ice water. Rotate the head of the thermometer until it reads 212. Put the thermometer stem into moderately warm water. Adjust the thermometer until it reads 32 degrees.
B.
E.
It is B.
I was like,
Rotate the head. In other words, stir, rotate until it reads 212 degrees. I
The
think.
thermometers are like a
You're on mute.
sorry. So thermometers are like a pin with a head on top. So you stick it in boiling water and then the head where the thermometer is, you rotate it to make sure it matches. But in Denver, it's like 12 degrees less. Anyway, my son was just coming in to tell me his conference with his teacher is at 7:30. So I'm going to need to bug out probably like
Okay,
7.
we're good. I'm good for today too.
7:25. We have 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes.
5 more minutes? Okay, we only have 5 questions left. Which of the following processes will prevent cross-contamination? Using red cutting boards for meat and blue for veg, using the first in, first out method, wiping off cutting boards, washing hands before beginning food preparation.
A.
A.
Cutting boards. A.
Color code. To be acceptable, a shipment of fresh shellfish should meet which of the following criteria? Shells do not close when tapped, mild seaweed smell, no odor, dry texture. Any ideas?
Oh my gosh, no odor?
Believe it or not,
They all smell.
they wanted to have a mild seaweed smell.
It should smell like seafood. Right?
Yeah, seaweed.
That always has
They're not still alive and closed when you tap them.
Hopefully, they should be closed when you receive them until you cook them. So I think that is weird to begin with.
Hmm.
Sorry.
To be acceptable, a shipment of fresh shellfish should meet which of the following? They shouldn't even be open to begin with, just FYI. For what purpose should you use an infrared thermometer?
COVID.
To determine the surface temperature of food and equipment, to determine the internal temperature, to determine temperature of equipment and air, to determine the temperature of food and air.
Surface, A.
It's A, surface temperature.
And COVID.
Yeah. A shipment of milk should be rejected if it has which of the following characteristics? Missing, sulfur, dirty, moldy taste.
Dirty carton.
B.
It actually, on the answer key, it says moldy taste. So
You're not
that's
really
you're tasting the milk when you get it. I guess you're tasting it when you get it. I don't know,
Right? I'm gonna open up all 16 gallons of this milk and I'm gonna taste it.
right? Okay. When receiving a shipment, which of the following food items should be accepted? Can without a label, strawberries with dull appearance, hot beef that appears brown in color, raw lamb that appears light red in color.
With D?
Yeah. It's the only one I would accept. Okay, you guys, we're done.
All right. Okay.
Good study group night.
Next week is Wednesday?
I want to say yes. I'll send out an email just double checking.
Okay.
Yes, Wednesday, because Michelle Dunnick will be here talking with us. So, and
On
she's
Wednesday.
the director for education right now. So awesome.
Okay.
I'll double check all of my facts though.
Thanks.
In the meantime, I recommend you